Borders are just lines on a map, but for some they mean the difference between life and death. This is the story of Abdi, an Ethiopian man who fled to Somalia, only to find that survival wasn't the same as safety. For years, Abdi lived in Ethiopia's Oromia region, a land scarred by ethnic violence and government crackdowns. He worked as a farmer, just like his father and grandfather before him. Life was hard, but it was home. Until one night, everything changed. Armed groups stormed his village, their gunshots shattering the silence. Homes were set ablaze, families torn apart. In the chaos, Abdi's brother was dragged away. His screams echoed into the night, never to be heard again. The next morning, the village was nothing but ashes. Those who survived knew they had to leave, or they would be next. Abdi, his wife, and their two children packed what little they had and set off towards Somalia. The journey was merciless. The scorching sun drained their strength by day, and the bitter cold stole their warmth by night. They had no food, no water, only the will to survive. But step by step, they kept moving, because stopping meant death. When they finally crossed into Somalia, Abdi felt a wave of relief. He thought they had reached safety, but he was wrong. Instead of refuge, they found rejection. The Somali authorities saw them as outsiders, unwanted burdens. The police arrested him multiple times, accusing him of being a spy. He had to pay bribes just to walk free. Employers refused to hire him, saying, "This is not your land." Even hospitals turned them away. His wife fell sick, but without Somali citizenship, no one would help. Living in makeshift shelters, barely able to feed his children, Abdi felt trapped. And then, one night, his worst fear came true. A group of young men attacked their shelter, shouting, "Go back to Ethiopia!" They beat him, ripped apart their few belongings, and forced his family to flee once again, this time deeper into a city that did not want them. Desperate, Abdi made his way to Mogadishu, where he found work as a porter in the markets, lifting heavy loads for meager pay. It was barely enough to survive. They lived in a slum, surrounded by others who had suffered the same fate. Then a flicker of hope. An aid organization helped him register as a refugee. For the first time in years, he had an identity, a chance. With their support, he applied for resettlement in Kenya, a place where his children might finally sleep without fear. But Abdi's story is not unique. Thousands of Ethiopian refugees remain stranded in Somalia, trapped in a land that neither welcomes them nor lets them go. They are the forgotten survivors of a crisis the world refuses to see.